What should the project manager do now? A project manager is leading a project that is in an advanced stage. All high level risks identified in the risk management plan have been resolved or are no longer risk. Only low level risk remain. So what has happened? Let's say you have 1,000 risk. Out of 1,000 risk, 500 risk were critical. All 500 risk have been handled, right? Whatever the risk were, now only low priority risk remain. What project manager should do now? Reevaluate, identify risk, and update the risk register can be a very good option. Reclassify low risk as high level risk. Reduce the priority of the project risk as all remaining risk are low. Notify the stakeholder that all high level risk has been resolved. Yes, can be. Now, now we need to look into that and we need to go with the elimination technique. Okay, two people have joined, Piyush and David, and I will allow them to join with me. For those who has not joined, this is the link. So understanding the context of that. The question is there, we are in the monitoring and control risk. Notifying is important, but now we need to re-evaluate the risk. Okay, so let's go with the question one more time and let's eliminate the option. Reduce the priority, reclassify. No, that does not make sense. Two options that are very good. Notify stakeholder, all like this is good, but before that I would go for option A. I will evaluate and then I will work into that. So the option A will be your right answer in this question.
Okay. What should the project manager do? A project manager is assigned to a new marketing campaign. The sponsor gives the project manager an approved project management plan for review and explains the scope, business requirements, deliverables, and stakeholders for the project manager. Asked to see the project charter to gain a better understanding of the project, the sponsor says the project is small and simple, so there is no need for a project charter. What should the project manager do? A. Agree that the project does not require a project charter, especially since the deliverable and milestones are included in the project management plan. Explain that a project charter is necessary to ensure agreement on scope and deliverables, to define the project manager responsibilities. C. Develop the project charter and send it for approval. D. Speak with peers about the need for a project charter. Uh, I think that we can eliminate C.
Okay, and why is that so?
I think the answer is B,
Okay, but how did you eliminate C? I want to know that.
because the project charter comes from the sponsor.
Good. Okay, so your answer would be B.
B is in boy.
B is a boy. Very well done. Okay, so that's good. But what should the project manager do in order to gather the information needed from stakeholders? Now we need to get the information from the stakeholders. We know that these are there are techniques that we use to do that. I list down those techniques, and those techniques can be the best one is face-to-face meeting, call, email, document analysis, focus group, workshop. All those techniques are combined in order so that we can get information from our stakeholders. The purpose is at the end of the day to get information from the stakeholders. Okay, after the project charter approved, the project manager needs to work on detailed requirement, constraint, assumption, or they are not available in short term. Like that is a normal thing. Stakeholders are not available. Escalate to the project that all escalation is an option when something goes beyond our threshold limit. I always say that when something goes beyond our pay grade. So I'm gonna eliminate this option. D is not the answer, right? Conduct a meeting to build a plan who are available. Yeah, that's a good option. That's really good option. So I'm gonna hold that option for now. Email, call, or meet to obtain that. Now this is something that is my responsibility. I need to get the information from them. So that I'm gonna hold that information. Meet, team, no, that is not the option. Okay. So now this is what elimination technique demands. In the first go, eliminate two options. Now two options have been thrown out of the way. We are left with B and C. Now let's see which option make more sense. C make more sense. So I'm gonna go with C.
What should the project manager do? The programming activities of a project were planned to last 35 days per module, but the programming of the first module has taken 45 days. What should the project manager do? A. Evaluate the situation and identify ways to compress the schedule without impacting the baseline. Ask the team to work overtime to complete the deliverable on time. Submit a change request to the project sponsor to change the schedule and change the scope. Check the scope to verify if there is a scope creep on a project and get the project on schedule. With an elimination technique, option B I'm going to rule out because we cannot directly ask the team to do overtime and we cannot directly submit a change request just because for the first iteration, the first module has taken a 45 days, which was initially planned to be of 35 days. So I'm eliminating B and C. Option A, evaluate the situation and identify ways to compress the schedule without impacting a baseline. And option D is check the scope to verify if there is a scope creep and get the project on schedule. Um, there is nowhere mention is that project is going above schedule or behind schedule. There's nowhere mention in this question that project is behind schedule or that needs to be done. Um, I think A is the one. Evaluate the situation. Let's evaluate the situation and identify ways to compress schedule without impacting the baseline. Um, and the D is or check the scope to verify if there is a scope creep and get the project on schedule. I'm going with option A.
How did you eliminate option D?
Um, the option D is to check the scope to verify if there is a scope creep to get project and schedule because in the question there is nowhere mentioned, sir, that project is falling behind the schedule. Project is we are losing something on schedule. The
Yeah,
question says like the
yeah,
first is like 35 and 45 days. So it's the
yeah,
first thing, like this first iteration, rather I say. So we
yeah,
have to evaluate the first thing.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. That is the right answer. The product team is progressing with a prototyping approach to deliver a multi-year business initiative. A few user stories are taking longer to be delivered. What should the project manager do? Now, some user stories are they are taking more time than expected. Okay, option B, Vinci is saying go for a spike here as it is uncertain. B, D. Okay, so we are confused in two options. Let's see. Inform stakeholders about, yeah, can be done. I'm not gonna eliminate that option straightforward. Determine cost dependencies and plan a spike in the next sprint. Discover the gaps in the communication plan and address them. There is no communication problem. Can eliminate. Okay. Determine the risk and identify a resolution during the retrospective meeting. Okay, now this is a very important thing. And David, the answer that you have given, why that is lacking, that context is basically in retrospective, we basically look at the progress, what we have done in the previous sprint, what we can do, how we can improve. If you want to have a spike is planned in sprint planning and worked into that way. We don't do that in retrospective. We don't do spike in retrospective. Is it clear, brother? So this is an important kind of a concept that evaluate, identify, yes, are usually the right answer. And I'm still saying they are usually the right answer. I'm also giving you additional information, right? That this thing happens there. And if I go to the option and exactly what you are saying, If you look at the option B, determine is not just there, it is also here. And that is your right answer.